On News Hour tonight, opposition leaders raise alarm over politicization of anti-corruption agencies. Defense Minister fires back at banditry allegations, warns of a legal move. Tinubu calls for West African unity to tackle terrorism, coups, regional challenges. And on the foreign scene, 7 killed in drone strike on Sudan hospitals. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust TV. I am Mariam Idris. Now, opposition leaders have raised the alarm over what they describe as the politicization of key state institutions, warning that agencies like the EFCC, ICPC and the Nigeria police are increasingly being used to intimidate opposition leaders and suppress dissent. In a joint statement, they said selective investigations and media trials are undermining the fight against corruption, eroding public trust and threatening Nigeria's multi-party democracy. The leaders highlighted recent defections and political pressure as evidence of a covert agenda to weaken opposition ahead of the 2027 elections. They called for the immediate depoliticization of the EFCC and a return to its statutory mandate of preventing and investigating financial crimes without bias. They also proposed embedding preventive anti-corruption mechanisms in government financial systems and establishing an independent review body to audit public accounts from 2015 to 2025. Now, the opposition leaders warn that if left unchecked, this trend poses a grave threat to democracy and urged all Nigerians to stand firm, defend multi-party governance and ensure the nation's institutions serve justice and not political interest. Now, the former Zamfara State Governor and Minister of Defense, Matawalle, has challenged anyone who suspects him of involvement in banditry to seek redress in court, insisting he will demand damages if found innocent. He stated this in a video interview. Matawalle alleged that those accusing him are individuals bent on sabotaging the government and are currently under investigation, stressing that their aim is to force his removal as Minister of Defense. He added that even if removed from the office, investigations into their activities would continue.
Anyone who suspects that I have a hand in banditry should go to court. If I am proven innocent, I will seek damages. Most of the people accusing me are responsible for sabotaging the government, and we are investigating them. That is why they want me removed as Minister of Defense. But even if I am removed, investigations into their activities will continue. The presidency knows that I did not have a hand in failing insecurity, as some security agencies carried out independent investigations and found me innocent. Those making noise and defaming me are politicians with ulterior motives. They believe I may contest the governorship in 2027. Even the present governor thinks that to be re-elected, he must defame me. I want the public to know that these allegations are baseless. I want the present governor of Zamfara State to swear on the Holy Quran, as I did when I was governor, that what he said against me is true. If he is lying, let the calamity of Allah befall on him.
Now, notorious bandit leader Bello Turji has confirmed taking part in peace talks with the Zamfara state government under former Governor Bello Matawalle, but denied claims that he received 30 million naira or any material inducement. The rebuttal follows allegations by former peace mediator Musa Kamarawa, who claimed Turji collected cash and vehicles during the talks. In a video response, Turji described the claims as false, insisting the meetings were aimed solely at reducing violence and restoring peace.
My name is Bello Turji. This video is aimed at dispelling the allegations made by Musa Kamarawa regarding the court case between the Minister of State for Defense and Murtala Asada. Musa Kamarawa claims to have evidence, but the truth is he is making false and unfounded statements. I know you were tasked with making peace with us by the Zamfara state government, but some of the issues you raised are far from the truth. Firstly, you mentioned that I was invited to Zamfara by Bello Matawalle and that I was given 30 million naira. This is completely false. You know very well that I have no connection with Matawalle. In fact, if I have any enemy right now, it's him, because he ordered the killing of my people. You yourself know that we buried over 70 people, including women and children, in just one day. It was also during Matawalle's tenure as governor that my father was unjustly incarcerated. He was imprisoned without cause. I'm not here to defend anyone, and I have no business with Matawalle. All I know is the peace accords we reached. On the issue of animal feed you raised, it wasn't given to us for free. I paid 650,000 naira for it. Please be humble and stop involving me in your politics.
Now, tension and fear continue to grip communities in western Malimfashi local government area of Katsina State as bandits persistently attack villages, killing, abducting and terrorizing residents. This Saturday, suspected bandits attacked farmers in Mantau, killing one person and wounded several others while they worked on their farms. Residents were seen fleeing their communities in fear of further attacks. In Katsina, Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi tells us more.
Residents say they have repeatedly raised alarms about suspected bandits carrying weapons around their communities for over 10 days, but no action was taken. The attackers have threatened to destroy farms and entire villages if residents refuse to comply. Women and children were seen screaming for help as fear grips the area. Many residents say they plan to relocate to safer areas once they have evacuated their farm produce, should the attacks continue.
Insecurity has affected me the most. My son and husband have been killed, and my relatives have been abducted. I don't know what to do. I am traumatized. We have been disappointed by these governments. They have failed us and abandoned us. We feel cheated and neglected by our so-called leaders. We are in trouble. There is no peace anywhere in our communities. People are being killed daily. Our voices are not heard. We have been crying for help, but nothing has been done.
Reports from Ungwarmanto and neighboring villages indicate that residents risk losing farm produce worth millions of naira if bandit attacks continue. No one dares to travel far from the communities to farm, fearing kidnapping or death. Dozens have been displaced, while others who remain are forced to spend nights in the bush, exposed to harsh weather conditions. Earlier this week, suspected bandits intercepted a commercial vehicle around Shuaki village along the Malumfashi-Bakwari road, abducting all occupants. 2 more people were reportedly abducted in Karfi village a few days ago. Since the attack on worshippers a few months ago, residents have had sleepless nights. Bandits continue to raid our villages, and now they have vowed to destroy our village and kill us all if we don't leave. Security forces are not helping. Residents of Western Malumfashi continue to face constant bandit attacks despite peace accords signed between local authorities and perceived repentant bandits. The Katsina State Police Command spokesperson DSP Sadiq Aliu, who had promised to verify the latest incidents, had not responded at the time of this report. Recall that months ago, over 50 worshippers were massacred in a mosque at Garimanto, and the community continues to live under fear and trauma. Abdullahi Izumayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
The Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, is pressing ahead with its nationwide protest set for December 17th. The Labour body says the demonstration aims to spotlight the country's escalating insecurity and the deepening economic hardship facing Nigerians. Hassan Lawankoli has more.
The national president of the NLC stated this shortly after paying a courtesy visit to the chairman of the 19 Northern State Governors Forum and Governor of Gombe State, Muhammadu Inuwa in Gombe. Ajero dismissed speculations that the protests had been suspended, stressing that there has been no contrary directive from the Congress. According to him, insecurity has continued to take a heavy toll on workers and their families, with cases of kidnapping and killings becoming increasingly frequent.
Well, I'm not sure you have gotten any contrary view that it is not holding, So unless you have gotten any contrary view, you can take it from there. But the protest is to help this country, to call to attention the effect of insecurity. It's affecting even investors coming into this country. It's affecting workers. Many workers are being kidnapped on a daily basis. And people are killed. The case in Kebbi, the person that was killed was a teacher. So we have to. The children that were kidnapped are children of workers. So we need to, ask government to help them, to fish out the perpetrators of this. And by our protest, they should know that their hands are being strengthened for them to do the needful. Even whether bandits or whatever, they know that every Nigerian represented by us is saying that this is wrong, this should stop.
According to the NLC president, the protest is aimed at awakening government to its responsibilities of tackling crushing economic hardships, insecurity, banditry, and other abnormalities in the country. He stressed that Nigerians are facing numerous challenges even with the implementation of minimum wage, as not any Nigerian is earning the salary.
It's not just the state of welfare of Nigerian workers, but the state of welfare of Nigerians, because there's no social safety net. We are talking of those that are working and are getting 70,000. There are people that are not working. And then if there's no country that pays 70,000 of its currency as a minimum wage, now the problem is not on the amount. The problem is on the devaluation of our currency and the inflation. So as you ask for 100,000, Britain is not paying 70,000 of its money. America is not paying 70,000. So we should pay attention on making sure that our currency has value and all those social safety nets are properly put in place. That's the issue, not whether 1 million or whatever. If you get a minimum wage to be 1 million, and then that 1 million can buy a loaf of bread, of what essence is that? So that's it. I think that should be our concern now.
Calling on Nigerians to support the protest, the NLC president urged citizens to collectively work towards ending insecurity and restoring societal values. The NLC says the December 17th protest will proceed nationwide as labor leaders insist that urgent action is needed to safeguard lives, livelihoods, and the future of the country. Hassan Lawan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
President Bola Tinubu has approved the promotion of his aide-de-camp, ADC, Nuruddin Yusuf, to the rank of Brigadier General, a decision that has sparked murmuring and discontent within the Nigerian Army. In a letter dated 12th December 2025 and addressed to the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Wahid Shuaibu, the National Security Advisor, Nouri Badu, conveyed the President's approval for Yusuf's elevation. The promotion has raised eyebrows within military circles because Yusuf was only decorated as a colonel in January this year, making the latest advancement his second within a 12-month period. Several officers, including some of his classmates, reportedly expressed frustration over what they described as an unprecedented fast tracking of his career, with critics accusing the president of favoritism. Neither the presidency nor the Nigerian army has publicly offered an official explanation for Yusuf's accelerated promotion. Again, President Bola Tinubu has called for a united front and collective action to tackle terrorism, violent extremism, and unconstitutional changes of government in West Africa. Speaking through Vice President Kashim Shettima at the 68th Ordinary Session of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of the State in Abuja, Tinubu said no single nation can ensure regional stability alone, and affirmed Nigeria's commitment to joint action for the bloc's future. ECOWAS chairman and Sierra Leone President Julius Buyo also urged coordinated intelligence and border operations, condemning the recent coups in Guinea-Bissau and the attempted takeover in Benin. Buyo further announced that starting January 2026, air travel costs across the region will be reduced by abolishing taxes and cutting passenger and security charges by 25%, aiming to improve mobility and inclusion. The meeting comes amid a recent surge in coups across West Africa, highlighting the urgent need for legitimate leadership and accountable governance to ensure peace and stability. Now, the Taraba State Governor, Agbu Kefas, has formally registered with the All Progressive Congress, APC, and collected his membership card ahead of his planned defection. The registration took place on Sunday in a brief ceremony at the governor's office in Jalingo, where the APC chairman of Kefas Ward in Wukari local government area registered him and presented the membership card. Speaking shortly after receiving the card, Governor Kefas said his registration aligns with his decision to defect to the APC, adding that he has concluded consultations with party's leadership. He explained that his formal defection would have taken place earlier but was postponed due to the recent abduction of students in Kebbi and Niger State. Governor Kefas said a new date for his official defection from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressive Congress will be announced soon.
Already, as you are aware, the decision has been made. This ceremony is supposed to have been done before now. I have written my letter to the concerned leadership of the party, and all programs have been set for our movement to APC on the 19th of November. But in solidarity with national issues, especially the abduction of school children in Kebbi and other places, we decided to suspend it for the future. However, this is one of the processes that we need to embark on. Even if we have done the ceremony, we will still do this. While we await a new date for the ceremony, it is expedient and necessary that we do the registration, fully in the party, to be able to give us the full identity that we deserve, so that we can take charge and put the party straight for leadership in the state.
A faction of Accord Party on Sunday conducted another primary election in Osun State, where another candidate, Clement Bamigbola, emerged. But the faction that conducted the first primary election that produced the state governor, Ademola Adeleke, as Accord Party's candidate, voted the second primary. Hamid Oyegbade files the report.
December 15th is the deadline set by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for political parties to submit names of their governorship candidates. After his resignation from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Governor Ademola Adeleke won Accord Party ticket at the primary election of the party in Osogbo last week. However, a faction of Accord Party conducted another primary election in Osogbo on Sunday, where another candidate, Clement Bamigbola, emerged. The chairman of Accord Party in Osun State, Babalola Akande, said those behind the second primary election had been suspended from the party.
That is the work of political jobbers that don't have anything meaningful and being perpetrated by people that have been rejected by the populace of Osun State. And they think by this action they can confuse the mind of the residents of citizens of Osun State. These people of Osun State know where they are going. They know their governor. And come August 2028, they will return their governor. And that is the person of His Excellency, Senator Ademola Adeleke. He is people's governor and is our sole candidate in Osun Accord. And the primary was legally and constitutionally conducted on Wednesday, 10th of December 2025. And in that primary, it was attended and monitored by INEC, both from the national headquarters in Abuja and by INEC from here, and by police, the civil defense, and other security agencies, and media were there also. So this issue of a primary, kangaroo primary, conducted by some unscrupulous elements did not hold water, and we are not disturbed by it. It's a mere distraction. It cannot distract us or take our mind away from our goal, is to work assiduously to make sure that our principal, His Excellency, Senator Ademola Adeleke, emerged as the winner on August 8, 2026 by the grace of God and by the support of the citizens of Osun State, who are solidly...
They have been effectively expelled from the party. Maybe this is part of what they did. Acts that are inimical to the cohesiveness, to the progress of the party. So it's because it is only people that of such character that could do such a thing. And that is why they made themselves available as willing tools in this drama being orchestrated by the APC, by the G3 APC in Osun State. Because to us, we know that it is not whoever the character behind the primary might be, it is no other person than the stalwarts of the APC in Osun State who are evidently, physically afraid of the stature, the acceptability rate of His Excellency, Governor Ademola Adeleke, who I want to assure them from here, there is nothing they can do. Governor Ademola Adeleke will contest this election, come next year, August, and he will win landslide by the grace of God and the support.
With the new development, Accord Party now has two candidates for the August 2026 governorship election in Osun State. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Reacting, the Independent National Electoral Commission in Osun State says it was not notified of any parallel governorship primary conducted by a faction of the Accord Party. The disputed exercise reportedly took place on Sunday in Osogbo, where Bamigbola Clement was announced as the faction's sole candidate for the August 8, 2026 election. Clement confirmed his emergence, claiming he was selected through consensus. But INEC's Osun Public Relations Officer Musa Olurode clarified that the commission only monitored the officially recognized Accord Party primary held earlier and has no knowledge of any other exercise. The legitimate primary held last Wednesday in Osogbo produced Governor Ademola Adeleke as the party's candidate, with Adeleke securing 145 votes from 150 accredited delegates. Accord Party caretaker chairman in Osun, Babalola Akande, dismissed the factional primary, insisting its organizers lacked authority, and reaffirmed that Adeleke remains the party's rightful candidate. This is the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Kano government bans private Hisbah group. Don't go away. Joining us, you're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Now let's take a recap of our major stories again. Opposition leaders raise alarm over politicization of anti-corruption agencies. Defense Minister fires back at banditry allegations, warns of legal move. Now let's recycle back to the first story, where opposition leaders raised alarm over what they describe as the politicization of key state institutions. So joining us via phone call to discuss this political this first story is political analyst Saliu Mahmoud. Good evening and thank you for joining in.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Saliu Mahmoud. Thank
you very much. The pleasure.
All right, thank you. Now, the joint statement alleges that the EFCC is being used to target opposition leaders. Now, does this indicate selective justice for the EFCC, and does it undermine the agency's credibility in fighting corruption?
Well, it is because in Nigeria we forget so easily. Don't forget, even Obasanjo that set up the EFCC and ICPC, during his reign as President and Commander-in-Chief, used Nuhu Ribadu then as chairman of EFCC to persecute and torment opposition. We knew at that time what happened. So it is another repetition of that episode that happened during President Bola and Tinubu. And there are certain things we forget. ADC, yes, is an opposition party, but it's not long that they came together from the PDP where there were opposition. And majorly, most of the ADC players from Atiku Abubakar, Nasir El-Rufai, and also others were people that were players under Obasanjo administration. And today, they have found themselves as opposition. So what goes around surely comes around. Is as it may, sometimes once issues are raised, particularly allegations, we as experts, we don't conclude because we are for all and sundry and to see how our polity can go very well, particularly our nascent democracy. You know, it became stable in 1999. Then when we look at the tenure of the current chairman of EFCC, some allegations to 30% are true, because there are certain personalities that came under certain allegations. Later, they were already granted bail and also others. We can remember issues of many people. I don't want to mention them. But regarding issue of Buhari's Attorney General, Minister of Justice himself, the senior advocate of Nigeria, Abubakar Malami, all these things began when he made intention to also contest for governorship of Kebbi State under ADC in 2027. Itato, nobody even cared about him. From his own native Kebbi State, he's aligned with the executive governor who is with APC, and I believe there might be some underground, script that are made, even though it remains to be substantiated. Be it as it may, you see, most of these criticisms sometimes go to the president. Don't forget, when the president was in Yelwata during the massacre there, he made one point clear, that police and other relevant agencies don't say because somebody criticizes me, you arrest the person. It is possible that President Bola Tinubu is not even aware of what is happening to Malami. There are some foot soldiers, there are some higher echelons of the ruling party who might just like to use the name of Mr. President to say, do this. I think it is high time the chairman of EFCC comes out to clarify issues. They said they are interrogating him, investigating him on Abacha loot and what have you. The issue is that Abacha loot was recovering. And Malami, in his defense, said most of the things he did it through consultants, because as Minister of Justice and Attorney General, he does not have accounts where recovered money goes to his personal account. But they go to, of course, accounts ordered by the then President and Commander-in-Chief, who is not alive today, to also lend his voice to this matter. So the whole issue looks complicated because he said as Attorney General and Minister of Justice, you said some recovered money, certain things were done. It was consultants that were used, and there were certain other legal processes involved, people that went to ensure that those monies were repatriated and retrieved from those countries where they were kept, according to that and also other things. So are you now saying it is from the consultancy money that we did some misdeeds, or what? So EFCC also need to tell us that. So be it as it may, until the EFCC as a body, as a grand agency comes to, give defense of the criticisms from the opposition that they are not being used against some political opponents that Nigerians will believe. As it stands now, we still need to let it be like allegation.
All right, Saliu, how does the politicization of anti-corruption agencies like this one, like the EFCC, impact Nigeria's democracy and the rule of law? Do the opposition's claims of persecution by the EFCC have merit, or are they merely a tactic to deflect accountability?
Well, we cannot completely say that the EFCC has been politicized. When issues are raised, particularly allegations, it starts to be substantiated. But like I gave you background, that it did not just start today. Even that created the EFCC in 2002 also used that against certain opponents. We remember Adamawa, we remember also Taraba, a whole Inspector General of Police after retirement, where no EFCC chairman made a contract to drag Mr. Taraba and IG, who just retired, on the ground, a moving vehicle. So you can see it did not just start today. If that can be done to governor, if that can be done to IG, and also other things, then now a former minister, Attorney General, then it's continuation under another government. Why people are surprised is that the All People Progressive Congress, APC, they rose to power through criticisms of certain policies, certain politicization, certain vendetta of PDP then. And today, some higher echelons and top functionaries are also trying to remind Nigerians of that. EFCC as a setup, beyond the chairman, commissioner, secretary who is repeatable, there are also directors who are career, workers there, who are lawyers, detectives, trained, and also. So for a commission that have people of intelligent character, knowledgeable people, intellectuals, cannot be said to be politicized. Sometimes there might be some people in the commission that are being used, but the Attorney General and Minister who supervises the two anti-graft agencies like EFCC and ICPC should please, the General Minister of Justice who supervises EFCC, investigate this application by the opposition, because it can change our image before the international community. And during Buhari, he was given accolades for standing against corruption, even though some of the ministries later, made him up and also other things. But as it stands, we expect much from Attorney General and Minister of Justice who supervises the EFCC. They need to come and give their own topic. Then, if their defense comes, then if there are things that are tenable or practical, we now know. So I'm talking about accountability. You see, EFCC and ICPC are independent anti-graft agencies, even though supervised by the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. So I think for accountability, it is the Attorney General and Minister of Justice that can do justice to that by calling the chairman to order, okay, these are allegations raised by opposition, give me line of defense. If it is not satisfied, then actions can be taken, even though the EFCC chairman is appointee of Mr. President, because it's only Mr. President that appoints the chairman of EFCC as well as that of ICPC. So at times we expect much from the Attorney General and Minister of Justice who supervises that anti-graft agency. Like I told you, we cannot completely agree that the politicians because allegations remain to be substantiated.
All right, salute and Tata. Thank you very much for being on News Hour tonight.
So thank you very much. Pleasure is mine. Thank you. Thank you.
Now moving on to more stories. All 11 people on board a private jet that crash landed at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport have survived without injuries. The aircraft, operated by Flybird, was carrying 8 passengers and 3 crew members and was en route from Abuja when the incident occurred on Sunday morning during landing. Airport sources confirmed that all occupants were safely evacuated and that the aircraft has since been removed from the runway. However, officials said details of the incident will be formally addressed by aviation authorities and the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria headquarters. Sources added that limited information is available on the private jet, noting that such aircraft are not as easily identifiable as commercial airlines. Tragedy struck on Ikorodu Road in Lagos on Sunday as an 8-month-old baby and a woman lost their lives in a horrific auto crash. The Lagos State Traffic Management Agency, LATMA, says the accident occurred opposite Olabode House before Obadikoro when a commercial bus traveling at excessive speed from Palm Grove toward Anthony suddenly lost control. The bus veered off as its lane crossed the median and collided with a Volkswagen car traveling in the opposite direction. Officials and members of the public quickly rescued 10 people from the wreckage, all of whom sustained varying degrees of injuries and were rushed to a medical facility for treatment. The bodies of the deceased were recovered by the State Environmental Health Monitoring Unit. LASMA General Manager Olalekan Bakare Oki has cautioned commercial drivers against overspeeding and urged regular vehicle maintenance. He also extended condolences to the bereaved family and wished a speedy recovery to the injured. On a similar event, a tragic road accident along the Lokoja-Ajaokota highway in Kogi State has claimed 4 lives and left 7 others injured. The incident occurred around 7 a.m. on Sunday when an 18-seater bus heading to Abuja with registration number ABC 232XA and a trailer Kaduna 704XC collided with a stationary articulated vehicle during a failed overtaking attempt. Eyewitnesses say the crash left the bus almost completely destroyed, bringing traffic on the highway to a standstill. According to the Kogi State Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Tanimu Yusuf Etuku, 3 passengers died at the scene, while another was confirmed dead on arrival at the Lokoja hospital. 7 others who sustained various injuries were evacuated to the hospital for treatment. Commander Etuku urged motorists to exercise caution, especially as the festive season approaches, and to strictly adhere to speed limits to prevent avoidable accidents. Tension is mounting in Kano following the announcement by former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje of plans to establish a Hisbah-style security outfit under his personal foundation. The Kano state government has swiftly banned the group's operations, citing serious security concerns. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim reports on the unfolding development and the legal implications raised by experts.
The Kano State Hisbah Board, a government-backed religious enforcement agency, has long been tasked with promoting Islamic values, discouraging immoral acts, and enforcing aspects of Sharia law. On November 25, 2025, former Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje unveiled plans to establish a Hisbah-style organization under his foundation. According to Dr. Baffa Babada Agundi, Director General of the National Productivity Center, The initiative is aimed at reintegrating thousands of former Hisbah personnel disengaged by the Kano state government.
This is a draft report on the 12,000 Hisbah personnel dismissed by the Kano state government. We have verified them with their contacts.
The proposed body is expected to be headed by Sheikh Muhammad Harun Ibn Sina, a former Commander General of the Kano State Hisbah Board. However, the Kano State government reacted almost immediately, announcing a ban on the operations of the proposed outfit known as Independent Hisbah Fi Sabilillah.
As it has come to the attention of the Kano State government that certain individuals and groups are undertaking recruitment, mobilization and organization of persons into a body described as Independent Hisbah Fi Sabilillah without lawful authority and in contravention of the laws of Kano State. And any act done in furtherance of such independent Hisbah Fi Sabilillah is hereby declared unlawful, illegal, and void.
The development has sparked widespread public debate, with some observers warning that the creation of a parallel Hisbah structure could heighten tensions and threaten peaceful coexistence among religious communities in the state. Legal practitioner Ahmad Kamilu weighs in on the legality of the move.
Ganduje, as a citizen of Nigeria, by law, he has the right to establish or to register a private guard company under the Private Guard Company Act 1986. By law, Hisbah has already been legislated since 2003 in Kano State. It has been in operation since that date, since that time to this time. And it is an agency owned by the government. By the name Hisbah, Ganduje doesn't have any right by law to establish another institution or entity called Hisbah with this name. The fact that based on the report that I have read, it is Independent Hisbah Fi Sabilillah.
He also examines the delicate balance between such initiatives and adherence to the rule of law in Kano State.
If there is petition against the move of Ganduje by any of the security agencies are by law, they have the right to invite any person in Nigeria, excluding the president, vice president, the governor, the deputy governor. Any other person can be invited by the security agency, whether police, DSS, any other agency, any other security agency. When there is petition before them, they may or they can invite any person to come and answer some questions.
For now, security agencies have been directed to enforce the government's ban as the controversy continues to unfold. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
Still in Kano State, the governor, Abba Yusuf, has approved the immediate establishment of a special task force to bolster security at motor parks and other strategic public spaces across the state. According to a statement by the governor's spokesperson, Sanusi Baturi Dawakin Tofa, the move aims to prevent criminal infiltration and safeguard Kano, particularly at major entry and exit points within the metropolitan area. Motor parks have been identified as high-risk locations due to heavy human traffic and recent security developments, including the arrest of suspected miscreants at Ofarua Motor Park. The task force will conduct intensive surveillance, intelligence gathering, and coordinated security operations, covering not only motor parks, but also filling stations and other public spaces frequented by transient populations. Governor Yusuf said the initiative is designed to neutralize security threats before they escalate, strengthen interagency collaboration, and restore public confidence. He reaffirmed his administration's zero-tolerance policy on crime and pledged continued support to security agencies to protect lives and property in Kano State. And now the Adamawa state government has begun distributing inputs to cooperative societies and peasant farmers to boost food production for export. The activity, which occurred simultaneously across the 3 senatorial districts of the state, is a follow-up to the recent presentation of export certificates to registered cooperative societies. Trust TV's Gibson Soadigo reports.
Cooperative societies, mainly focused on agriculture, receive farm inputs from the Adamawa state government through the Minister of Commerce and Industry. Before distribution, they were briefed on the importance of increasing food production for the African market. The Commissioner for Commerce and Industry reaffirmed the government's commitment to supporting farmers and local businesses to meet international standards. According to him, Adamawa State is preparing to become an exporting state, particularly in agriculture, by utilizing its fertile land.
People would take advantage of this opportunity and engage in farming activity that will be used for export. I want to believe in the next few months we'll have more people that will participate in export activities, especially those crops that have been selected for Adamawa State: soya beans, sunflower, groundnuts, and beans. We focus on them for now to fight food security.
This partnership is with the Nigerian Export Promotion Council alongside the state's action on business enabler reforms.
We need to ensure that by the time the farmers are trained on good agricultural practices, these issues of export rejects will be reduced. And then the state governor has taken that initiative to develop the export sector and make sure that the farmers are being supported both by inputs, capacity building, so that you can see that this project is not only in the capital, Yola. It is being done in 3 other centers of the senatorial district, in each of the senatorial districts: North, Central, and then South.
Government is expected to unveil plans and initiative to further promote its efforts to establish Adamawa as an export hub in the coming days. Gibson Soadigo, Trust TV News, Yola.
In business, Nigeria's import of crude oil from the United States surged by 153% in the first 9 months of 2025. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, between February and September, Nigeria received nearly 40 million barrels from the U.S., up from just under 16 million barrels in the same period of 2024. The spike in imports coincides with the ramp-up of the Dangote refinery, which prefers U.S. light sweet crude for its complex refining processes. Analysts say the trend highlights Nigerians' ongoing reliance on imported crude, despite being Africa's largest oil producer and an OPEC member. Between January and August 2025, local refiners received over 67 million barrels of crude from domestic sources, yet shortages persist. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission said deliveries were made to both modular and state-owned refineries under the Petroleum Industry Act and domestic crude supply obligation policies. And on the foreign scene, a drone strike on Sunday hit an army hospital in the besieged southern Sudanese city of Dilling, killing 7 civilians and injuring 12 others. A health worker told AFP that the victims included patients and their companions, noting that the hospital serves both civilians and military personnel. Dilling in South Kordofan state is controlled by the Sudanese army but has been surrounded by rival paramilitary forces since April 2023. The army has been locked in a brutal conflict with the Rapid Support Forces, RSF, and their allies from the Sudan People's Liberation Movement, North faction led by Abdelaziz Al-Hilu. The attack came a day after a drone strike on the UN peacekeeping base in the state capital, Khartoum, killed 6 Bangladeshi peacekeepers. Now, the United Nations says civilians in Dilling are facing famine conditions, while the war nationwide has killed tens of thousands, displaced about 12 million people, and triggered the world's largest hunger and displacement crisis. In sports, Muslims and Christians faithful in Bauchi State have intensified efforts to strengthen peaceful coexistence and resolve any misunderstandings between followers of the two major religions in the country. This was disclosed by representatives of both communities shortly after a novelty-friendly football match held at the Games Village in Bauchi. Trust TV's Adamu Imam completes the report.
The novelty encounter was initiated to promote peace and harmony. The representative of Jama'atul Nasrat Islam JNI and the Christian Association of Nigeria (CAN) says the match could not have come at a better time than now, while describing Bauchi as a peaceful state worthy of emulation.
Peace indeed. And through the IBBN, I want to showcase and to show that yes, in Bauchi State, we are living in peace and we are together with JNI and CAN. And aside from that, I want people outside Bauchi to emulate from Bauchi State that yes, indeed, we are living, staying in peace in Bauchi State. Thank you, sir.
However, some share their thoughts on the significance of promoting peaceful coexistence through sports engagements.
The feel, not all things happen. The feel, you can see so many people coming here, and so we feel this is a better place that we can capture the mind of them using the sport as a tool for bringing in peace and unity among the people in the community. That's the reason.
Highlights of the match was the presentation of gift items to deserving players and the entire team members to encourage tolerance with one another, irrespective of their faith. Adamu Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Before we go, here is a kicker. Bordering her family's rubber plantation on the outskirts of Abidjan, young Ivorian designer Rebecca Zoro is tapping into her creative roots. Her brand, Yebe Design, has already dressed global celebrities, and today she is making waves on the international fashion scene. Take a look.
After studying fashion design in Morocco, Zoro founded Yebe Design in 2015, seeking to build an industry with significant economic potential in Africa. Côte d'Ivoire is the third largest producer of cotton fiber on the continent, and for Zoro, the opportunity lies in transforming Africa's cultural wealth into sustainable economic power. Her model blends indigenous design, local manufacturing, and storytelling that showcases African heritage and style. My vision for fashion as an Ivorian designer is really about expressing what I've known since childhood. The way my mother dressed, how I saw my aunts and sisters, that entire world that shaped me. It's about highlighting and sharing our fabric to show that here we have our own sense of style, no matter the situation. By anchoring a global brand in Ivorian culture and powered by e-commerce, Zoro is contributing to African shifts from exporting raw commodities to creating high-value products. When a woman learns a craft or gains knowledge, she also learns to believe in herself, and through these experiences, she can grow and build her own business. Beyond clothing, Zoro is selling the image of a confident, entrepreneurial, culturally rooted Ivorian woman, reflected in her straight cuts, geometric motif, blonde colors, and collaborations with other women. In our family, we are strong, hardworking women. I'm not the kind of woman who just sits around doing nothing. I've done business, I work hard, and my daughter inherited that strength from me and from our family. Where we come from, creativity is part of us, and it's deeply rooted in us. Zoro's design philosophy is inseparable from the traditions of resilience and entrepreneurship spirits that define her family.
And with that, we have come to the end of the news hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news. I am Mariam Idris. Thank you for watching.